Hello, everyone. All right, we'll try that once more. Hello, everyone. Hello. That's better. Okay. We are here to talk a little bit about global dignity. In 2005, we met with this impressive group of people, kind of like you're doing now, in Zermatt, Switzerland. It was the first summit of the young global leaders. We started talking about all the major issues of the world. Climate, like you've been doing now, health, development, poverty alleviation, security, etc. And everyone were doing great work, coming together, making action plans, timetables. We had it all down. We knew what we needed to do. And we were being effective, efficient, and we were doing great work. But we weren't really talking about why. And where does all this come from? Why do we want to do something good for people that are not our relatives, that are not our friends, that maybe live far away from us in a different part of the world? Where does this come from, this energy that we want to change the world to the better? That we want to do something concrete in our own community, but we also want to do something good for other people far away from us. And my friends, John Bryant and Pekka and myself, we started talking about, so what is this? What is the source that all of these people are tapping into? If we look at the major names of history, if we look at Nelson Mandela, Desmond Tutu, Mother Teresa, Martin Luther King Jr., what did they all have in common? They wanted to do something good for other people. They wanted to lift other people and increase other people's dignity. And dignity, we were talking about, was the core value. That was what was at the center of what we were trying to do. So we started to talk about that, and I told them this story about Matumbango. A few years ago, I was traveling in South Africa, and I was in a township outside of Durban. And I met this girl called Matumbango. And she was at the last stages of AIDS. And you could tell because her energy was pretty low, and you could see it in the skin of her face. She invited me into her home, and she told me her story. A while before I came there, she had attracted HIV, and she became HIV positive. Now, Matumbango had all the right in the world to become angry, to become bitter, to be destructive. We would all have understood that. But she made a different decision. She went out and talked to her peers. She started to organize groups of other people who were also HIV positive so that they could support each other. Because AIDS is not only a lethal disease, because they didn't have access to drugs in this area, but it's also attached to stigma and discrimination. So it's a double burden. So she organized that so that they could support each other. And in addition, she did something that was very courageous. She did meetings, large meetings, to talk to her constituencies, to others from the village and from the neighboring villages, to talk about how they could avoid becoming HIV positive. Now, Matumbango became sort of a leadership model for me because she was able to do all that. And I was thinking, if she's able to do all this magnificent work and inspire so many people to do, to make the right decisions and create a better life for themselves, what can't we then do? What can't I then do with all the resources that we and I have at our disposal? Now, so I told this story to Pekka and John, and we started talking about how we could tap into the source of dignity. So we started going, we started thinking about how we could talk to children, kids, youth about dignity. And we went into schools, and we started doing dignity days. And we asked kids, what are you for? What do you want to do the next year to increase someone else's dignity? Now, so if you have a piece of paper, bring it up and write down what you're for. It's not allowed to be against. You have to be for something. It has to be one thing. And also write down what you want to do the next year to increase someone else's dignity. And that should be concrete and actionable. Now, it's OK if you change the goal and you change what you want to do the next year. That's OK, but it's important to have something that you've defined as your goal, because without a goal, it's hard to score. So you can hang it up, above your bed, so that every morning when you wake up, you can look at it. You can put it on your desk. But that's one of the things. And the other thing is to tell dignity stories. So we ask the kids to tell stories about how someone has lifted someone else, someone has strengthened someone else's dignity. So basically, we've done this now through the network of the YGLs. We've done this in more than 30 countries. So I thought I'd show you a little film before I leave the floor to Pekka.